No,
I'd probably be happy.
I swear, I got it done.
And just get older with that.
Promise.
Yeah, but it wouldn't go. You could draw, you'd be rated in a race. Oh, yeah. Okay, there, which is you got it. You're official. Yeah.
I know. I see Lane.
Hey, Jesse, I'm gonna give it another minute. Seems like we got some folks still trickling in, just a heads up. Ready to go. At least they think I'm ready to go. Yeah, I don't have my minutes out of it. Motion and
It's 10.
You just gotta say
The second.
The president's ideal.
You have to be out at 2 o'clock, is that correct?
I actually have a meeting.
Well, you're basically. Excellent. Jesse, you ready? I am. All right, I'm gonna call the June 5th Staff Senate meeting to order at 1:16 PM. Secretary Grossinger, if you would proceed with roll call, please.
Thank you, President Como. Archer, JC. Baker, Joseph.
Here.
Baker, Ty.
Here on Zoom.
Senator Beatty.
Present.
Senator Como.
Present.
Senator Check. Senator Fifield. Senator Grossinger, present. Senator Hand. Senator Henderson. Senator Jackson.
Present.
Senator Crayson. Senator LaFleche. Senator Lubbers.
Present.
Senator McGinley.
Present.
Senator Monahan or proxy.
Proxy present.
Senator Panton or proxy.
Proxy.
Senator Robertson.
Present.
Senator Swizik.
Present.
Senator Tang.
Proxy.
Senator Von Cleve.
Present.
Senator Vogt.
Present on Zoom and apologies for not being able to be in person today.
Senator Wheeler.
Present.
Senator Wolfenberger.
Present.
That's everybody on my list. We do not have a quorum.
Well, that's unfortunate. This might be a very quick meeting then, y'all. So we do not have a quorum. I don't believe we can proceed with the June meeting. Case, Senator Hand, let me know if I'm doing things incorrectly here. Yes, go ahead.
Can you tell us what numbers you have? Because just to remind you of who has resigned, I don't know if,
We had five
Alex.
resignations.
huh?
Five,
5 were absent? And,
hold on, I have 17 present. Then 3 proxy with 4 absent.
and that should be it. So that's, so
Okay.
basically you have,
29. Oh, I guess we're down to 25.
yeah, because
Because we had
we
a
missed,
couple of resignations between May and now.
Right.
it should be at a 20. I have our numbers here. Should be,
58%, so that is a quorum.
All right, moving on then. Thank you, Secretary Grisslinger. Next, we'll move into item 3, approval of the May meeting minutes. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Thank you very much. All in favor of approving the May meeting minutes, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Okay, motion passes. Oh, that's nice. So tired of using my water bottle last time. It lost its sense of authority as I drank 1%. Next up, approving the June agenda as written. Do I have a motion? Sorry, I have a motion to approve the June agenda as written.
I'll make a motion.
I was second.
All in favor of approving the June meeting agenda as written, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Agenda is approved. Next up, we'll move into elections. I do not believe we have any elections at this time. Senator Hand, is that correct?
Not unless, we had one nomination for parliamentarian, our parliamentarian that was elected last month has resigned. So I'm not sure if, Senator Lubers, did you accept the nomination?
This is Senator Lubers. Actually, the parliamentarian is not an elected position. It is an appointed position by the president. It needs to be somebody that he trusts and wants to sit next to him through the meetings, and he does not need to be an actual member of the Senate. He could be just the parliamentarian appointed by the president. And I don't feel I can put the effort into the time to be able to do that.
Thank you very much, Senator Lewis, for that information. We will keep that in mind moving forward to find a suitable parliamentarian for staff senate. Senator Hand, is there any other election discussion to be had?
Not at this time.
Move on to item 6, confirmations, which I also believe we do not have any since we had about 12 or more last time, if I recall correctly. For those, I do believe we have some newly elected senators present today who will start in July. Anyone want to raise your hand if you're incoming senator? Excellent. Welcome. Well, we look forward to having you be part of staff senate, and thank you for being here today, present in today's meeting. It's good practice. Thank you. Next up, we'll move into external, apologies. Oh, I see a hand on Zoom. Phoebe?
She was raising. She's senator.
Oh, my apologies. Well, thank you for participating over Zoom. Sorry. Thank you. Next up, we'll move in external liaison reports. Do we have representative in ASUW present here or on Zoom? No, I don't believe Cameron's able to make it today. Next up, we'll move into faculty senate. Do we have a representative of faculty senate present today in this room or on Zoom? Or they're both off for summer. So, well, then move right along into administrative reports. I don't believe President Saito or Kelsey will be attending today's meeting. Just to make sure that's correct, Christine, thank you. We will then hand it over to academic affairs with Binham, is that correct? Please.
Thanks. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Tammy Benham-Deal, Senior Vice Provost
for 6 more months. We'll talk about that in just in a minute. I have a brief update for you from the provost. The first item is he would like for you to know that at President Seidel's request, Academic Affairs is forming a new task force to bring together the critical functions associated with undergraduate enrollment. The broad scope of folks on this campus who have a role in student enrollment, financial aid, marketing, advising, student success, enrollment management, the registrar, and probably some others. And so the provost is gonna be convening that workforce pretty soon with the goal of making meaningful progress on enrollment. And so we'll keep you updated as that work begins and continues throughout the summer and into the fall. I know many of you have been following the news on the closure of the Office of DEI. If you've been following that news, you will have seen that President Seidel announced following the last board meeting the creation of a vice provost position in response to the recent DEI legislation over in Cheyenne. Our office is working right now to define the new vice provost, what those duties would be. And we're actually working with a number of other offices including DEI right now, and specifically Zebediah, on trying to differentiate what roles or duties he took on with the creation of that office that may be able to go back to some of the originating offices. I think HR is probably going to be one of those units that will probably take on some of those duties. So we're real close to having a job description for that position. The president may be speaking with the board next week at their teleconference meeting. I would encourage all of you to watch the Provost Messages weekly updates. He's trying every week to give you just a piece of information just to keep you in the loop of what's happening, at least on the academic affairs side. I anticipate there will be a call for nominations for people who may be interested in this vice provost position. This is going to be a position much like our vice provost position on enrollment management, Kyle Moore, and our vice provost for online learning, which would be Matt Griswold. They do not hold faculty appointments. So this is going to be a similar vice provost position that may be from the academic affairs world. It could be from other folks on campus. So be watching for those weekly updates in the provost message, and particularly for more information on what the process will be for actually identifying someone that'll come in with that position. We've got a number of changing faces in the provost's office that I wanted to update you on. The first departure was Ariel Ivanhoff. She was our faculty affairs specialist. Those of you who work with academic units and specifically on faculty affairs will know that she moved on from the university. Her husband graduated this spring and took a job over in Cheyenne, and so she went with him. And we've been searching, and I'm pleased to report that her replacement, Paige Anderson, who is someone from external to the university, has accepted our offer, and her first day will be June 19th. So we're excited to bring on Paige to the provost team. Some of you may also know that Kaylin Brooks, our program manager, she's going to be leaving us June 14th. That's just in a few days. Also, because in this case, her fiance graduated from law school and is beginning his legal career in Colorado Springs. I think maybe I need to have a conversation with Kyle Moore to, talk about all of these graduating people who are taking our staff with them. But we are in the final stages of the search for her replacement and are hopeful to have an offer out very soon and her replacement in our office very soon as well. I guess the last Well, no, what I'll say is with these vacancies and replacements, it's gonna take some time to get them up and running. Those of us still in the provost office have been doing our very best to be responsive to particularly our academic units and needs and questions that they've had. We're definitely looking to have a couple new bodies to help us with that process, but I just ask all of you to maybe be patient with our office. If you have to call the provost office or contact us, we like to have a 24-hour turnaround in our response. Right now, that may take us 48 hours. So appreciate your patience. Finally, you may have seen in the provost message a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to be retiring on February 4th, 2025. There's strategy in that madness. And that is that, did I say February 4th? Maybe it's the 5th. I can't remember. It's the last day of the University Tenure and Promotion Committee meeting. And so I'll be hanging around to assist my successor, who will actually take the position on January 2nd. And so I'll be around for another month doing some additional tasks and being there as advisor. We have a really good, I think, transition plan. We're hoping to announce that vice provost in early August. So then that individual can attend new faculty orientation with me, can shadow me during the fall, going to board meetings and those sorts of things. So we're confident that we've got the right transition plan for that position. And so with that, I will bring my report to a close and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Tammy. Any questions for the office of provost? Right, congratulations on your upcoming.
Yes, thank you.
It's a long time coming.
You know, 35 years here at the university, long time, right? Maxed out on that sick leave and vacation. That's important whenever you get to. And I apologize, but I do have a 2 o'clock meeting, so I'm gonna have to run.
Of course, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Next up, ombudsperson, Billy Haddad, I believe, is on Zoom. Hey, never, I was incorrect. If she does appear later, perhaps we can circle back to her time lapse. Next up, research and economic development. I'd like to welcome Robert Macy, the director of the Center of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Welcome, Robert, please.
Hi, so the only thing Red had wanted me to do is come introduce myself, the new director. Been here 2.5 months now, and mainly to help faculty, staff, and students who are interested in entrepreneurship or innovative activity. If you have IP you want to commercialize, or help staff with startups or businesses, or if you run into people, you know, please pass my name along who want assistance. That's mainly it. So unless there's questions.
Well, welcome. It is good to have you.
Thank you. You're welcome aboard.
Apologies. Next up, Division of Operations. I don't know if VP Mai is present on Zoom today. I don't believe he is. I've been having a heck of a time going into my building in Half Acre lately. I don't know about everyone else, but I feel though I should mention in the near future, I just PSA regarding Half Acre. I believe the south entrance, that being the main entrance, in due time will also be covered by a fence, if I recall, and so we will utilize the west entrance to enter Half Acre. We will have signage and social media updated accordingly, but this seems relevant to operations, so I'd like you all to know ahead of time. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I'm just mentally preparing for the day I walk into a literal fence and then go around. So everyone present, so you know. I don't believe we have a representative of government affairs today either. Nor student affairs. Or there is.
Adam, I'm here.
Oh, apologies, Nicole. Thank you for attending.
Yeah, no worries. We just have a couple of updates I think that are helpful. We are gearing up for Saddle Up. So for all of you that are a partner in that, we really appreciate your dedication and help and support. But we kick off Move In August 16th. So it literally is around the corner, and we're uber excited to offer something unique called the Parent Base Camp this year on Move In. So this will be in conjunction with the one-stop shop that also is sort of in that front vestibule area of the Shoshone room downstairs in Washakie. That's the one-stop shop where students can get their needs or parents get their needs met. But we'll have a base camp inside Shoshone room, and I'm happy to distribute this and sending it out to President Adam here if that's helpful. But we have a link for people to sign up and kind of highlight their areas or talk to parents about what they might be wanting to kind of have students be invested in or know more about what activities might be happening throughout the year. And so we did this last year and it was wildly successful. So we're excited to offer that again. This is in addition to the resource fair that you should also be getting a link on during Saddle Up that Thursday of Saddle Up. So I believe August 22nd is the resource fair. So for those that also have services they would like to highlight, that's another way that you can get information out. But those are two critical areas that I think this team would be really critical to show up at. So we have those. And then Saddle Up is the week of the 19th through the 23rd. So we have lots of things planned there. And we're excited that a lot of faculty have returned, and we hired around 174 students, and the majority of them have accomplished Saddle Up in the past. So we're feeling really good about the recruitment efforts that have occurred. And I know several of you sent students our way, so thank you very much for that. And then I think the same as Tammy, we have lots of efforts occurring around vacancies across campus. So would love for folks to know if you have anyone who have skill sets in counseling or social work. We will have several vacancies open in the University Counseling Center. We just hired Megan Belleville as the director of the University Counseling Center, so we're really thrilled about that. Julio Brunez has exited the university, but Megan will bring great leadership as she was the associate director. So we're searching for her position and then a couple other counselors as well. And then our disability support services team is also searching, and we have about 3 coordinator positions open there as well. So you should see those in the next few weeks that are really critical to that area, and would love any sort of application that we can get. So thank you so much. I think those are our biggest updates.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Do we have any questions for student affairs? Let's see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I don't know if Zebediah is present today. I don't believe so. And that brings us to Division of Budget and Finance. Aaron, if you.
Yeah, sure, thanks. Filling in for Alex this afternoon. He is working on the project. We just have a few quick updates. The first one being the FY25 budget will go to the full board next week on June 12th for approval. I'm not anticipating any changes at that point. They do have that ability to change it all the way up to the end. It is a balanced budget, and looking forward to having that complete and putting it into the system so that we can move forward and start spending FY25 money as well. We wanted to make sure that there's a reminder out there for the FY24 year-end close. There is a memo and a calendar out on our website that has all the dates. There is nothing that is due this week, but we do have our first few things that are deadlines next week on Thursday and Friday. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the calendar and remind others that that calendar is out there, and it is a great resource, but those deadlines are coming quick.
They emailed today.
Even better. You're well on top of it. That's great. So yeah, definitely take a look at that. A number of different financial areas that we have done. The last one that I'll bring up, we're busy working on fall fee assessment. One semester ends, the next one starts right away. We anticipate having charges to students out there in mid-July. so they can see those. Obviously, that is a very fluid situation. Students change their coursework, but that's our anticipated goal. We're trying to get it a couple weeks ahead of normally when we post it at the end of July, so students and families have time to prepare for that. And then the final one, similar to this one, last time I was at Staff Senate, we talked about FAFSA. Just to announce that we have got all of our FAFSA and ICERs from the feds, and they have been processed. We are still working through a few glitches here and there, but students are being packaged with their financial aid, confirming we are hopeful that the worst is behind us.
Thank you for that update on FAFSA. I know a lot. We're interested to hear about that. Any other questions for Division of Budget and Finance? Okay, thank you very much for your time. Next up is Human Resources. I don't believe AVP Link is present today. I'll have a small little update when I go to my president reports about his one-on-ones with the regarding case for change, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So that concludes administrative reports, and I do not believe we have a guest speaker today. So, well, that leads right into old business regarding our legislation, last being resolution number 248, requesting a delay regarding the case for change. I did speak on that at the Board of Trustee meeting in May. For AVP Link did have over 150 one-on-one meetings in a 2-week span, regarding for staff to meet with him about the case for change, and he is taking in their feedback and consolidating that data, responses, trends, that sort of thing, which I believe will be shared later once he's finished with that. Once he has that data, he will share it with President Seidel, who will then formally address resolution 248. So it's coming down the pipe. I believe Bob's on vacation right now. So I would expect something soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but the resolution will be formally addressed by the president. And he will also address Faculty Senate's resolution, which was similar but different than our own, as many of you know. Questions on that? Okay. Questions about Board of Trustees or anything for May? Busy meetings. Okay. I will share any updates I have as they are given. I don't believe we have any new business with legislation, sorry, I can't talk today. Molly, is that correct?
That is correct. I can just tell you that we are working at revising the rules and procedures. That will, we will be putting that forth in August.
Molly, since we have quite a number of new incoming senators present today, would you take a moment to explain what the rules and procedures are and why they're important?
Sure. So we have bylaws that are kind of like the constitution of our staff senate, and then we have rules and procedures, which are more like the legislation of our senate. So they can be a little bit more flexible, and we still do need to approve changes. Because we've recently drafted and approved a new form of our bylaws, we need to then, that's what we're working on now, is making sure the rules and procedures are consistent with that. And they explain just the very logistic stuff about how our organization is run. We'll have more information in July.
Thank you.
For those new senators.
Next up, we'll move into staff senate executive reports, starting with myself. I believe everyone should have been emailed about our July 23rd retreat, which will be located in the business building. We'll go from 8 AM to 4 PM, is that right, Christina? The light breakfast will be provided as well as lunch. I did email everyone and also their supervisors to inform of the upcoming staff senate meetings for the year, as well as noting that this is a required retreat and their presence is expected. So everyone's supervisor should be aware, and letters will be going out as well regarding your status as staff senators and the amount of release time allocated to provide those duties. Christine, do you think I missed anything about that? Does anyone have any questions about that? One item that was brought to our attention by a past staff senate president was apparently staff senate used to do a highway cleanup, I think, once in the fall. And I guess I just wanted to talk about that to get the temperature of the room, see if that's something staff senate might be interested in pursuing again in the future. But I think I'm gonna follow up with him to see exactly what it entailed, where it was, because Jeannie, I see you see like, go ahead.
So we did Highway 132, and it was, everyone was involved. It wasn't it's more like kind of how we try to make it, everyone participate in the homecoming parade to some extent. We made it the same way that highway cleanup was like one of our duties that we did. And orange vests, and I don't know if they're already orange vests or anything, but we did have them in bags, and then people just went out. And it was part of your work hours. So it was a good community service that put it out there, and other people in the community driving by would see that, oh, UW Staff Senate out there cleaning. It's good.
That's good to know. I think it might be best to discuss this at the retreat when everyone is present. That way you can get everyone's opinions on it. But I wanted to bring it up because it brought to my attention. So thank you, Jeannie, for that. I want everyone to be aware that I will be on vacation June 28th through June 28th through July 9th on a road trip, and my access to my cell phone internet coverage and emails, etc., will be limited at best. So I'll be likely out of contact during that period of time. I want everyone to be aware, and I will send an email to the staff senate listserv as well, just so everyone's aware prior to my departure. That concludes my report. And I will turn it over to Vice President Henderson.
Do not have an update at this time.
Thank you very much. Treasurer Vaught.
Thanks, Adam. No update on my end.
Secretary Grossinger.
No update on mine.
Member at large, Ty Baker.
Nothing on my end.
No, believe Director of Outreach Engagement, is Deb present today? I don't think we have legislative affairs update either. So we'll move into liaison reports. Starting with Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Senator Tang. Or proxy, I believe this is proxy, apologies. Since the next liaison report is Athletics Planning Committee, also by Senator Tang or proxy, will move forward unless they come back later. Next up, we have the Campus Safety Working Group, but Senator Moody was on that, but she did resign. So we do need a volunteer. I'll be honest, I'm not sure when this group met last. I know Senator Moody was not able to attend the first meeting, but the Campus Safety Working Group, to my understanding, is a working group comprised of individuals across campus to assess safety of various aspects of campus. If anyone is interested, Senator Baker, are you interested?
I'm actually meeting with the Vice President of Student Affairs tomorrow to discuss campus safety issues.
Oh, okay.
So,
Is that staff senate related or?
yes.
Okay, I will put you down for that. Very much. Next is Enterprise Risk Management Advisory Committee, which is also Senator Tang or proxy. Next up is External Relation Connections and Communications Working Group, Senator Ty Baker.
This group has only met one time and I'm not sure if if it's going to continue or not, so really no update with this group.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, or for letting us know. Next up is Food Security Task Force, Senator Monahan. Oh, my apologies. No, okay. Thank you guys, looking in the wrong direction. Did she also give you an update on Fraternity and Sorority Life Task Force? You. Next, Freedom of Expression Initiative, Senator Ty Baker.
Yeah, so this work group was to take a look at the recommendations that the Freedom of Speech original task force kind of put forth. And our goal was to really go through them and to see what recommendations were feasible for implementation and to make sure that the proper channels were communicated with. So we did go and meet with the provosts and the deans to provide kind of an overview and just to get input on how they would like to implement the freedom of speech recommendations from the original committee. There's a report that the freedom of speech committee put out. And so just went through that. And then I wasn't able to attend, but just a few weeks ago, the group provided an update to President Seidel. And so there's a few other things that we need to kind of clear up and to put forth on our final report. And then this committee will be done and convening. So.
Thank you very much for that update. Next is the Green Dot Committee, Senator Hand.
There is no updates for Green Dot this month.
Okay, and sorry, I was thinking ahead on subjects to Saddle Up. Do you know if there'll be involvement from
I
the Green?
believe that they are seeking instructors from Saddle Up, but I don't have a report for certain.
Sure.
Just as they did last year.
Of course, I was just curious. Thank you. Next up is Public Art Committee, Senator Grossian.
Thank you, President Como. We did meet and we approved a few new trees and plaques. One over by the library on the southwest corner near all the parking, Union parking, as well as one over on the northwest corner of Prex's pasture. I don't remember a deadline. I can look at the minutes later on and provide an update on that. As for art going in new construction, they're forming working groups and meeting. I believe I volunteered for one of those, but I haven't heard an update on when we meet for that. Aquatic Center is what the one I volunteered for. Haven't got any more updates on the new dining hall and dormitory artwork, but that's ongoing. Other than that, everything else is good.
I'd love if you keep the updated on the Aquatic Center and the ones right next to Half Acre, because I'll be probably staring at those quite a bit. So thank you for your participation in that. Parking Committee, Senator Van Cleef.
We have not had a meeting since our last one, and I do believe I will be off the committee before we have our next one, so.
And Senator Wheeler, you were interested in taking over, is that correct? Sure. But if that's incorrect, please.
No, I.
I did email, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name, and talk to VP Maya about your transition. I haven't heard back, but I will follow up tomorrow because we have cabinet, so I'll keep you in the loop from what I hear. Next up, we will move into committee reports. We don't have an update from Recognition Committee. Senator Moody did resign from Staff Senate. So we'll move into Staff Relations Committee with Senator Check.
Peace for Change update. HR completed their 2 weeks of meetings with the affected staff. people that were signed up to meet. So not all affected staff, you had to sign up and agree to meet. AVP Link said that everything went well, the meetings were good, he learned a lot of information from those meetings, he came away with good information. The working group was meeting the next day, of which you were present, and he was going to share the information in the group. And then in short order, we would have a summary of the findings and then any implementation changes that may or may not happen from the meetings will be available soon for everyone to read about. We're working on HCM issues that we're working with Associate Director Sean Moore. We've implemented some changes that IBT process. It's very labor intensive manual process, and it's now going to be more streamlined and electronic. And then the other two things that we're working on is in WyoCloud, there is a vacation delegate that you can assign your approvals to when you go on vacation out of the office. And we don't currently have that in HCM for payroll costing, which is way more important than the financials because people won't get paychecks. So they're looking at being able to put something in the system to make the same kind of option for a vacation delegate. And then we're also trying to create additional approvers to costing if we feel that we need to add someone in the loop to be able to, maybe perhaps someone has missed and we want to add a person to the loop. We would be able to do that as an approver, just put it to someone else. There's been some lively discussion about leave balance equity. Remote workers that are full-time remote tend to not have to use vacation or sick time if they have a home care appointment or a sick child or whatnot. But if you are full-time on campus, you generally have to take leave time. And it's just been brought up that some people feel it's maybe not fair. Could there be an additional hours possibly added to sick and vacation that the full-time on-campus employees might be able to have in addition or versus the people who are remote and don't really necessarily have to take that option. Seems like that would not be a feasible thing that HR could do. There's lots of reasons behind it. They probably would not ever be able to do that. Bob is hoping that supervisors are working with their employees and allowing that time to make it up within the week. If you had to take 3 hours off for some reason to go home or deal with something, to maybe not be able to have to use your leave time to be able to make it up, but that it is dependent upon a supervisor. Some of that will be incorporated into future supervisor trainings that we've been waiting to roll out for quite some time, so that still hasn't come up. They're currently looking at all the annual remote work agreements right now and reviewing them to see where it's meeting the university's needs, and they're reviewing that and also encompassing case for change. Lastly, that's all we talked about. That's it.
And Senator Check, could you remind me that who will be taking over your committee now that you will be retiring from staff senate?
Megan Munn.
Great. Well, I want to take a moment to say thank you for your work for staff relations over the years, your service to staff senate, because I recall this will be your last meeting. Is that correct? Well, let's give Jeannie a round of applause. With that, we'll move into government's committee. Senator Ham.
Thank you, President Como. As I stated earlier, we're working on revising the rules and procedures because we need to have 2 readings in order to pass them through. We decided to put off the reading until our August meeting because our July retreat we will not be doing any sort of business. So during the July retreat, we will have a draft of the rules and procedures that we will be providing to you, and hopefully you will have a good chance to really delve deep into them. At that point, we will look at potentially some things that we might propose to change at that August reading or the September reading. For July, we will have 38 districts filled out of the 43 we have. 3 of our newly elected or almost elected senators are not quite eligible, but we invite you all to attend the retreat so that when you are eligible and we can confirm you, this includes Jordan Joyner and 2 other people. But when we encourage you to come so that so no one has to onboard you after you're eligible to be confirmed. So July, we will be able to confirm another person. That means by August, we will have 39 of our districts out of 43 filled. And by October, after the last 2 are confirmed, we'll have 41 out of 43. So that's really, it's gonna be a really great year. I'm excited for a almost full staff senate. That's historic, I think. Doesn't it seem? I mean, it seems historic.
We have less now than we had.
Yeah, okay, historic in my few years
Yeah.
here, so. And that's all of my updates for governance.
Thank you, Senator Hammond. We'll now move into public comment. Senator Hammond.
Yes, I received, a constituent has a proposal and I have, as a senator, have wanted to sponsor this proposal. It is a request that Staff Senate sponsor a weekly, free, open to anyone, public mindfulness folk dance workshop. So a colleague in ACTL, her name is Dilnosa Kasilova, I don't know if I butchered it, but she writes this. If you won't mind, I will read this. We've written it together. Dear esteemed members of the Staff Senate, we are writing to seek your support and sponsorship for an exciting initiative that we believe will greatly enrich our campus community, a weekly mindfulness folk dance workshop to be held in Prexy's Pasture. The proposal overview, proposed mindfulness folk dance workshop aims to bring together students, staff, and faculty this summer in a joyous and culturally enriching activity. Folk dance is a wonderful way to celebrate cross-cultural connections, promote wellness, and build a sense of community and belonging. The workshops will be facilitated by a passionate and enthusiastic UW staff members and be open to guest volunteers who are willing to share their love of folk dance. So the benefits to the campus community include the cross-cultural enrichment, the fact that this is going to be inclusive and accessible, no skills will be required to join in. It's all about having fun. Our logistics, we plan to, upon getting permission, hold these weekly in Prexy's Pasture, preferably at 11 a.m. on Fridays. And the facilitators will be volunteers, Dilnosa being one of hopefully many volunteers that we can get, that will kind of lead people in some cultural dance. The equipment that we would need is minimal, just a portable sound equipment and maybe signage that we'd like to have Staff Senate promoted. So maybe some banners showing Staff Senate that might be sponsoring this. And that's what our request is for sponsorship. We'd like to request that Staff Senate help us with the following. The sound equipment rental, if necessary. Hopefully by getting endorsement from Staff Senate, we might be able to utilize Aztec. I'm not quite sure, but we'd like to just be able to borrow some outdoor sound equipment. And then we would love to have Staff Senate banners at our event to kind of market that we are about promoting community. And other marketing would be done, we do it via email and digital media and potentially posters that we would do within our units. If possible, we would love Staff Senate to provide some water available But again, if we don't have the funding, we're really asking the minimal amount that we can get away with to be able to hold this event. So in conclusion, we believe that weekly mindfulness folk dance workshops will be a vibrant addition to our campus life this summer, offering numerous benefits to the entire university community. So Staff Senate's sponsorship would play a crucial role in making this vision a reality. Thank you for considering our proposal. We're excited about the possibility of working together to bring this enriching and joyful activity to Prexy's pasture. So we're happy to provide additional information and open to discussion if you have any questions about this.
I guess. Staff Senate sponsor endorsement is new territory for me, admittedly, so. Trying to think how that would work. Treasurer Vaught, I'm gonna call on you.
Yeah, we could sponsor such an event. Just needs to be a clear business purpose and need to touch on the benefits to the staff like you already have done, Molly. Financially, it is something we could do.
With the fiscal year wrapping up and a lot of accounts stop spending in the next week or so, is that an area of concern?
It's not, budget and finance will typically go through all the transactions on each side of that kind of fiscal year transfer. So regardless of whether it's fiscal year 24 funding or fiscal year 25 funding, it's not really a concern.
Molly, do you think you'd be able to pull up an estimate on cost for the requests? I think it'd be good to look at those numbers before making any decisions.
Yeah, I have already looked at Aztec. They recently had a new regulation saying that they only support student-run events. So this was an avenue that I don't know we'll be able to pursue, in which case I think we would look into purchasing a outdoor speaker if we can't find another. And yes, Jesse.
You could talk to some students and get them to be the leaders of that group, and we could sponsor that student group.
Yeah, but it's hard to do that in the summer. That's the problem. We want to utilize the summer weeks, and students are not necessarily around or meeting with their student work. We could potentially do that in future years if we had proposed it earlier. Yeah, so I was looking on Amazon for outdoor audio. It looks like it's less than 100 if we get something that, we don't need a big system. Something very, very minor would work. So I do have those estimates. If you don't mind, it looks like our treasurer has a question.
Frankie, go ahead.
I was gonna kind of advocate that, yeah, we just purchase it at Staff Senate because I'm sure we can find plenty of events to use it for. Whether that's playing music in the background, staff recognition day. I would recommend we go down the avenue of purchasing it under Staff Senate.
So then I guess we need a motion to approve I don't know if I can. I wish we had a parliamentarian, but.
Has there been any discussion with central scheduling about using Prexy's on that space?
That's also in the works. We are working on finding out if we can use that space. And so everything is, we're trying to put it together and we want to get some sort of sponsorship so we can say, and Staff Senate is behind us on this, so please, that would give us more credibility.
Of course, I just wanted to mention that just because there are some table and chair events that happen throughout the summer, just to be aware of that.
Right, thank you for that. I have already put an email out to central scheduling about it.
Okay.
So it's in the ether right now.
Cool.
Thanks.
Sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
I think what we could do is put a motion to endorse the letter that Molly read, Senator Hand read. And in that endorsement, we promised to put some funds towards that. And then when we get proposals of time, place, equipment, we can then bring that up in another meeting to discuss if everyone's okay with that.
I would agree, however, that letter was not provided ahead of time in the meeting materials and we were not able to get constituents' opinion on that. I think we need to distribute that to Step Center's constituents first to see if that is something they would indeed approve of, so the senators are voting accurately in this regard. Perhaps, Molly, you could send a copy to all the senators to distribute, and we'll include it with the monthly report for this meeting. And maybe we can call a special voting session after there's been time allowed to read it. That is, what do you think of that?
That sounds great, and I can include the budget.
Excellent. And might be able to help you out with water from Half Acre with those water gallon jugs and stuff.
Oh, that's
Might
all we need.
make it a bit easier, so.
Thank you.
But why don't we, I got a whole bunch of jugs.
Great.
Okay, anything else from that?
Nothing else on this. I do look forward to, hopefully we can get a special meeting soon so that we can start to.
When is your desired start? Yes.
We'd love to start next Friday. Because there's only so many Fridays in the summer session. But we don't necessarily need staff senate's endorsement by then. We could just do it as volunteers until we have endorsement. But yeah, it's a quick turnaround, but that's our hope.
I would propose we send out a letter to constituents to see if they support that and hopefully have some decision sometime next week. Maybe not for Friday, but enough to move forward in the future. Does that make sense? That's what I would suggest. Sorry, Christine, am I missing any comments on?
No, Debbie had to leave, so she was just logging on.
Molly, do you have anything else regarding your subject?
No, nothing else.
Okay, thank you for bringing it forward. Continuing with public comment.
Thank you, President Como. I was wondering if any of the senators know anything about Golden Key and if we have a chapter here on campus any longer.
Could you describe what that is?
Golden Key it's a national organization for honor students. And at one point in time, there was a chapter here at the University of Wyoming. I have a lot in my office of historical documents for Golden Key that they may find important, but I don't know of an if the organization is still.
Did you look on WildWeb?
They love them, and they will go through them and decide, but they have archives.
I was just hoping if the
To go
group
to
is
the
still
appropriate group, right,
is
right,
still
but
in
if not,
existence,
it
yeah.
would be good to go there.
It's my first time hearing of it, so I do not know. I guess reaching out to the Heritage Center sounds like it.
They really love everything.
Do you have anything else?
That's
Okay. Any other public comment? Christina?
Oh. I'm sure most of the fiscal year 24 senators have heard by now, but for those of you who have not, I put in my tweet notice, my last day is June 14th.
Just want to say thank you, Christina, for your service, for both UW and StepSen. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you the best moving on. So, thank you for everything. Obviously, we will. Obviously, there'll be discussion on the vacant position. New territory for me, so if I could ask for some patience on how to proceed with this, we'll discuss it more later down the road. Thank you, Christina, and we will miss having you. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning the meeting at 2:14 PM, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed, indicate by saying nay. That concludes the June 2024 staff senate meeting, I believe last year for the fiscal year. Have a good day.
Are we gonna talk about